Today, you guys are going to learn how to jump in 3 easy steps. The first thing we're going to work on is body position, the second thing is throttle delivery, and the third, most important, is landing safely. Step 1, body position. We're going to work from the ground up here, kind of just building a nice solid base. You want to think about your footwork, always pointed forward, more on the balls of your feet than on the heels. Knee work in the middle of the bike so you have good access there. Hips stacked over the foot pegs, and then your upper body is probably the most important. You kind of want to be at a 45-degree angle with your hips and your upper body. That way you can lean into a steep face or drop back on something that's a little more mellow. Overall, you just want a very neutral feeling on the bike, right? You don't want to be too far forward or too far back.
Okay, a simple wrong would have done just fine, but
like I said before, jump faces will change that as far as how far you are forward or back, but just a nice 45-degree angle. Step number 2, we're going to work on throttle delivery. What that means is you just don't want to get real aggressive with the throttle at any given moment. When you're just learning how to jump, you want to be as smooth as possible. That's going to give you a nice level bike in the air, and you don't have to deal with endo or loop outs. So you just want to be really smooth with the throttle and steady through the face, hold it all the way through the top.
Now that's how you're supposed to drive. From that one, that's how you drive.
Step 3 is going to be landing safely. There's a couple different things that'll help you. One is squeezing the bike really tight with your knees. It helps with the blow of the ground. Depending on what you're hitting, it could be a little aggressive. Number 2 is just finding a nice jump where you can visibly see the landing. That always helps with our depth perception and how fast we need to hit it.
It certainly does suck.
We get this question often here, do you land front wheel first, do you land on the back tire, do you land both at the same time? And it all really depends. Just know that like what you're doing before the jump and through the face of the jump really determines all that, and then also your landing. The more advanced guys are going to land a little more front wheel first to drive down the landings. Landing flat ground, you'd be back wheel first. So it really just depends, but ideally you just want to be a little of each, right? You don't want to be too much of one way, and that way you stay safe either way. We're super excited today because we get to talk about the fun stuff, jumping. You guys have been asking for it, we want to give it to you, but we want to give it to you safely. So we're going to talk about the 5 common mistakes that we see on the daily out here and hopefully help you improve. Number 1 is improper throttle delivery. What we see a lot of the times is riders will chop the throttle right at the top of the jump. Or get a lot of throttle right at the top of the jump. What you're looking for is a smooth delivery from the base of the jump all the way through the top to make sure the bike tracks straight and stays in line. Note, I am on a 252 stroke today, so there are some subtle differences, but 95% of this is all the same on both bikes. This is going to hit the power a little quicker, so if you're on a 2-stroke out there, you've got to be really ready for that as far as being in your body position and also very steady with your throttle. The 4-stroke power curve is a little more linear and a little smoother. This hits a little harder. That would be the difference in what we're doing. Number 2, improper balance position is a big thing that can really mess you up. You see a lot of guys hit the gas with their weight too far back. And then as they start to go up the face of the jump, it inclines them even more and pulls them off the back. And then they end up looping it out. And or they hit the jump way too far on the front, let off the gas, all the weight moves forward, the jump may have a kicker or whatever it is, and then it endos them forward. The solution to that is squeezing the bike tight, clamping on from your hips down, and then moving with the power. So as you turn the power, your body matches your wrist. And as you're going up the face, that's so important because like I said before, the incline is working against you. You must lean your body into that to be safe. Number 3 is gonna be sitting and or standing at the wrong time. Meaning when you're coming up to the jump, like getting right before it, you decide to stand up right at the last second and your body hasn't had time to clamp onto the bike and get prepared. There's a lot of times where the imbalance starts to take place there. Also, sitting on steep jumps that are high speed and or just any jump that has a real steep short face is gonna buck you over the bars if you're not careful. So just making sure that you read the face and apply the right technique to it. Mistake number 4 is gonna be improper landing, and that's the part we want to work the best, right? We want to keep it on 2 wheels, keep going straight. So what I really encourage when you're coming up to the landing of the jumps, 2 things. Being really attached with the bike, taking the hit, not only with your suspension, but with your legs. So when you squeeze the bike, you take the first part with your legs, let the suspension take the rest. Second thing is making sure that if you're able to, if it's not a corner right after it, that you land on the gas. If you're a little bit sideways on a landing and you're landing on the gas, chances are that little jolt of tire spin is going to straighten the bike out rather than let the suspension compress and then unload. So make sure you're on the gas, make sure you're squeezing and take a little bit of that blow with your legs. Mistake number 5, not knowing your face. What I encourage you to do is take your right hand, start to feel it. Rub it, dust the eyeballs. That's it. I put that at the end.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Big key thing here is that you're looking ahead, you're seeing this and visually able to process what you're supposed to do on the motorcycle before you get there. A lot of times we see riders looking down at their fender or right in front, they get to the jump face, they're in a wrong rut or something that has a big kicker in it, and they don't have enough time to react. So I encourage you to make sure that your vision is up far enough to where you can make the right decision going into that jump face. Whether that's hitting it with a lot of power, whether it's hitting it with a little bit of power. More advanced riders are hitting jumps with the gas off if it's small enough and they're just trying to carry speed, say, into a turn. Do I seat bounce? Do I stand up? To be able to read the face of the jump, and that just takes some time. It takes a little bit of studying and it takes a little bit of trying, but your technique is the base level. You've got to have that and then you'll be able to do all of it. We're gonna give you 3 awesome tips to help you along in shifting in the air. 2020 is the year that we start traveling and doing camps. What state or country would you like to see us in first? Comment below. Tip number 1, why would you even use this technique? For me, I personally probably shift 80% of my shift in the air. It just seems like it's easier to get it out of the way where you have a little free time when you're in the air rather than trying to move your foot around while you're going through bumps and obstacles on the ground. The engine's more freed up in the air. You're not on the throttle like you are on the ground, so you don't necessarily have to worry about the clutch. You can just shift the bike up and that's much easier. Also, it saves you some time going around the track and it gives you more focused energy when you're on the ground. Tip number 2 is going to be when. It's going to be jumps coming out of turns that lead into long straightaways. And then it's going to be jumps going into turns that you can go ahead and get your shifting done and just have to worry about braking to set up for the turn when you land to go in. Tip number 3 is going to be how to do it. Intuitively, if you know how to shift well on the ground, which you should before you attempt this, it's very simple. You just make sure that you're off the gas and you get your foot under there and give it a nice swift pull. Make sure your foot's going from the foot peg underneath the shifter and then back to the foot peg. You don't need to worry about the clutch. You're not on the gas here, so you're not putting the engine in a bind. You just get your foot under there, The most important part about that is that you get your foot back out and back onto the peg in the right spot before you land, so you don't risk getting your foot caught underneath the foot peg. Make sure that you have good body position and that you can jump all the jumps on the track safely before you start to add layers while you're jumping. Start on a small jump. It doesn't take much time or effort, but make sure that you're doing it on, call it a 20-foot tabletop first, and then work your way up to the bigger jumps to make sure that you have the technique down and that you're doing it safely. There's a lot of times where we're a little uncertain. We can jump jumps 9 times out of 10, but there's always that one that becomes dangerous. Make sure that you're a 10 out of 10 jumper and that you're really in control before you start messing with any controls in the air. Welcome to this part of the video where we're going to purposely case a double in order to help you become a safer rider. We all know that we have holdbacks jumping. The tabletops are one thing, but doubles are a whole nother thing, right? I always tell my riders they're tabletops with nothing in between. Doesn't always help, but if you can think of it that way, it gives you a little more confidence. But what we're gonna do is teach you guys how to case them safely. So real quick before we start, a little disclaimer here. You know, it's pretty hard to practice this, to get good at it without, you know, accidentally doing it. But what I will say is, if you go to a track and you find a landing that's very round and not sharp, that's the one you want to go to. And then also don't think that that's going to react the same way a steep, taller landing is going to react. So make sure that you're aware of your surroundings. You just don't want to get caught off guard casing a double. All right, so step one is going to be taking off the face of the jump. What you want to think about when you're taking off the face of the jump is you want to take off the face of that jump with confidence. And what I mean by that is you want to go over the front of the bike. You want to be in good standing position, which will make sure we show you what that looks like, but you also want to be driving with your head. The reason for that is we want to be level in the air and or a little nose down. When we get to the landing of the jump, we want to make sure that our front end's down over the back end being down. We'll talk about that in step 2. 2 things real quick, guys, that you guys could do to really help us out. Check out our shopmxf.com. That's our merch page. We got really cool stuff that we just dropped. And also, just a like and subscribe would be huge. It helps the channel grow, helps us grow, helps us keep giving you awesome content. All right, so step 2 is just gonna be making sure that you're able to adjust the bike in the air. A lot like the tabletop video that we put out last week, but more so you have to be more precise, right? Because you can get away with landing on a flat area with both wheels in one direction and usually save it. It's a little more dramatic when you're landing into the face of something that's steeper. So you wanna make sure that you know how to hit the back brake if you need to, and that you're able to drive off of the jump face jumping level. If you're not able to do that, maybe doubles aren't your thing yet, and just hold back. Practice the tabletops, practice casing the tabletops, practice getting smooth on the tabletop. So step 3, so we've executed good trajectory in the air, we'll call it that, and now we're coming into the landing. What you've got to be ready for here is a very abrupt impact, right? So if you're not strong in your standing position, this isn't going to go well. You've got to make sure that you're really strong in your glutes, your hamstrings, your core, your shoulders, your upper body to take that impact. Same goes for as casing any other jump. You need your ankles unlocked so you have flexion there. You need your knees bent just slightly so you have flexion there. You need your hips unlocked so you kind of come down like an accordion. When you land, the upper body and the lower body kind of meets. You're just taking that energy from the bike coming up to you and pushing it back towards itself. That way you don't get a big unload. One important thing you got to think about is you want to drop in front wheel first. The reason for that is it's going to give you more of a level takeoff when the bike unloads, right? It'll slow you down, one, which is nice, and it'll also bounce you more level. If you come in front wheel high and that front wheel clears the peak, it's going to put all of the impact, it's going to put all of the energy in the back tire. The energy is going to come back up to you, but the front end's not going to get any of that. So it's just going to go straight through, drop straight down. It's not coming back up towards you. So what's going to happen? We're going to get the old huckabuck. I'm going to try my best to show you what that looks like, but I don't want to get it too bad. But yes, you want to make sure that front end goes, the suspension compresses, back end goes, suspension compresses, then body puts energy into the bike to keep from it unloading too hard, and it should bounce fairly level or just a little front end down. You should be able to ride right out of it. One thing that we didn't talk a whole lot about in the jumping or the tabletop video last week was landing sideways, right? So if the jump is really rutted and you're not real confident in being able to jump that bike correct, you may not want to practice this drill on any jump that you're not able to jump it straight. We'll make a whole nother video on how to case jumps when the bike's sideways. It's a whole nother topic, but make sure that you're jumping straight when you're trying to practice this and understand how it works. Got a quick bonus tip and something that we didn't really talk about for you guys. The technique of casing a double front end down, kind of popping up and casing it, is really good for tight corners right after the landing. So if you got a double going into the corner, rather than completely rolling that double, you can case on the top. When you case on the top, all your speed is sucked away, and then you're actually able to make that nice inside rut and make up some time going around the track. If you've ever been scared on a jump, or you're looking to jump jumps for the first time, or you've gotten hurt and you're trying to come back to being comfortable on the jumps, this video is definitely for you. We're gonna go over proper body position on multiple different jumps so you understand the difference. Let's go. All right, so before we get too deep into actually going over these jump faces, we're gonna show you the proper neutral standing position that you need to accomplish. It needs to be the basis of all of these jumps. And then we're gonna adjust the hips on each one of these jump faces to match what they need to not give us negative feedback. We'll start at our feet, so look down at the feet. We want to be on the balls of our feet with our heels dropped just below foot peg height. We go up from there. We want to stack our knees over top of the foot peg, so that's going to be a slight bend in our knees. From there, we rotate out, and then from there, we go down with our chest. We don't round in our back, and then we're in a neutral standing position. Now, the jump faces are going to dictate how our body moves front to back from this position, but our knees are gonna stay in the same spot the whole time. All right, the first one we're gonna work on is the longer jump face. This body position is more neutral with a little bit of head lower as you go up the jump face. So positions here, feet are dropped, knees are back, hips stay over the top of the pegs, and then the head's gonna drive forward through the jump face. The knees kind of straighten out naturally there because you're moving the head forward, so it's this motion. You're leaning, you're going with the bike. If you don't go with the bike on a longer jump face, the bike's gonna go backwards in the air. Here's one more time at speed for you guys. We don't have a lot of kick or a lot of feedback from the back end. So what we do is we plant the back end with our throttle by accelerating from the bottom through the top, and we don't get that huckabuck. Now what you'll see when we go over to the shorter jump faces is that you do get that reaction, and I'll explain why when we get over there. So let's head over to the rhythm section. The positioning is pretty similar, but there is one big nuance, is that we're landing on a downslope and immediately going up. So we need to land in a position that we can drive forward. So you want the head to stay over the front when you land, and then the hips are gonna drive a little further back on this one, as you notice when we get the shot from the side here. And the reason for that is these jumps, as a lot of rhythm sections are, the jump face is shorter than the bike length for the most part. And anytime you get to a point where the jump face is shorter than the bike length, the bike wants to kick. The front end kind of pushes through, the back end has feedback. When we get to a short and steep jump face, you'll really get to see that in our step 3 here. But let's go through this one. I'm gonna talk through this rhythm section as I hit it a couple times so you guys can see, and I'll explain what it's supposed to feel like for you at home. The motion you guys should be feeling is head forward, and then the hips you kind of row the bike to you. So it's like this motion here when you're going through the jump phase, but the knees stay in the same spot and the hips drive just a little further back. Okay, so heads here, back, 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 right? But head maintains the neutral position, so because we are on the gas here when we jump these things. Right? Another important piece, as you'll see when I'm jumping through here, is you want to always land front tire down going in a rhythm section, because if you case and slap the front tire, it's going to shoot your body weight forward and throw you all out of whack on the next jump. So we want to get used to pushing the front end down. And you ask, well, how do we get the front end down? There's 2 ways. You drive forward with your head, right? So you let your body weight lead the bike. You push the front end down, or you're really good at hitting the back brake in the air. But in short little areas like this, the back brake doesn't do a lot, right? Because there's not enough wheel spin inertia to really get it to jolt forward. So you just want to be really good at driving that head forward and making sure that you're pushing that front tire down to the landing. All right, so moving on to the third body position in jump face comparison is going to be the fast, short, and steep jump. We went over a little bit about the short and steep over there. Now we're kicking up the speed a little bit. This is 3rd gear, 3/4 throttle on a 450. And I want you guys to really see the hip separation. What I mean by that is basically separating your hips from your upper body, like you're stretching your body apart. The hips are gonna drive back, the head's gonna go down low. And we're just trying to basically meet the kick of the back tire with our hips. And this takes some practice. Make sure you start on smaller, slower jumps, because if you mistime it, it can kick you forward. But this is how you hit short, steep jump faces fast without getting the huckabuck. This is how all the Supercross guys are hitting all the rhythm sections. So what you want to think about when you land is, what are we doing? We're driving forward almost 9 out of 10 times. We're on the gas and moving forward. The only time this would be any different would be if we're landing immediately on the brakes, which is fairly rare. So if we're driving forward, we know that we need to start in neutral position and then lean head towards the front tire. Everything that we do on the motorcycle should be a balanced front to back. We should always feel like we're being pushed by the bike and or pushing against the bike under braking, in balance both ways. You want to make sure that you do your calf workouts and make sure you stretch your Achilles, because it's a good way to pop it. Tight with your knees, really, really tight with your knees. That's going to disperse a little bit of that energy coming back up towards you. Unlocked in the hips, so you can act as like a spring, almost like you're an accordion, where you're working, all your joints are straight and you're working together, and then just driving through a little throttle on the land. In this video, we're going to talk about how to jump a jump for the first time. You go to a new track, there's new jumps. How do you size up a new jump the safest way? What we're looking for here is not crashing at your new jump at the new track, having a good day, understanding how to get through this and have a good time. Like this. It almost didn't come down. Step one in this scenario, and you come across this scenario quite a bit, is you've got a corner coming up to the jump. What makes this easiest is if you have two options here. You can go way outside, cut, make a straight line, go straight at the jump, right? That gives you time to get stood up, find steady throttle, find the timing and the speed that you need to downside this jump perfectly. So, go way out wide, cut tight, go straight, okay? If you do that, the probability of you turning and jumping a little sideways is much lower, and also being able to time the jump a little better. All right, the tip here is gonna be whether to know that you can go long or short. So when you have a landing that's kind of steep and short like this, there's not a lot of dirt here. Typically, if there's a lot of dirt piled up, it's better for a case. The bike hits a little better on that jump. When it's short and steep, obviously your frame could find the jump. That's a hard hit, likely gonna bounce you off. So in this scenario, if you had to choose, you would want to go long. The only time you wouldn't want to go long is if there was a jump immediately after it. And in that scenario, if you're not super comfortable, you shouldn't be jumping the one before it, right? Because then you're gonna get yourself in trouble if you case or over jump. So know that on a short, steep landing like this, you want to go long, kind of like that. You want a little long on the first one to make sure that you don't case and fall, right? If you can time it perfectly, great. But if you're unsure, just give it a little more juice. In this video, I'm gonna show you the easiest and safest way to scrub in 3 steps. Look, being too fancy with your scrubs can get you in a pickle really quick, and I'm sure if you've tried it, you know what I'm talking about. But there's a very efficient way to scrub, and even Jet Lawrence himself, I would say 60% of the time, chooses this type of scrub over the more fancy Send-It scrub. And so I call it the safe scrub, okay? The safe scrub, I've also mentioned in the past, like the vet scrub, but let's face it, if Jet Lawrence is doing it, we can't coin it as the vet scrub. The safe scrub is gonna be more of a soaking the bike up to you rather than turning the bike down and counting on the wheels to slide off the top of the jump face, which some people are really good at it and can do it. And 99 out of 100 times they do it perfect, but that one can really get you. Now, I think your odds of keeping the bike under you are a lot safer when you learn how to do the safe scrub over the Send-It scrub. And we'll do a lap time comparison on our Instagram, showing you the difference in speed, lap versus lap. It's not very much. All right, step one, know the motion. Okay, we have to understand at slow speeds how to feel what the bike and body are doing together. And essentially, the body is meeting the bike at the top of the jump face. And what we're trying to do here is relieve pressure from the suspension so it's not getting as much rebound. So we're trying to basically get light in the wheels by letting the bike come up to us rather than driving through the jump face where we get an unload and more height. What that allows is the front end to kind of drive through the jump face without you having to do any fancy turns and sliding off the jump face and just risk the biscuit, okay? And so what I suggest is going on something really small, like a small single or a small roller. And I want you to think about, I want the bike to come up to me, but I want my body to stay level, right? So it's gonna look like this. We're riding, okay? We're riding, right? Bike comes up, bike goes away. All right, so the body maintains its space on a small 4-foot roller, but the bike comes to you and goes away from you. So you get the feel of what that rowing motion feels like. Step 2 is gonna be knowing the timing and understanding what jump face you can do it on.
And a basic rule of thumb is you don't want to do it on a very short, steep jump face because you're going to get a kick. On those type of jump faces, which I have a whole nother video for, the hips got to go back, not forward. On this, we're driving the hips to the front of the bike and kind of lightening the load like we talked about. So knowing your jump face, not on short and steep, at least not at first until you know exactly how to do it and exactly how to time it. Now let's talk about the timing on the jump face. Basically, the timing should be dictated on how fast you're going up and down. So on a jump face like we're about to go to over here, it's about a 10-foot jump face, a little longer than the bike. I'm gonna start moving at the bottom of the jump face, right? So my body's gonna start moving as the suspension would start compressing, and I'm gonna lighten the load and I'm gonna meet it at the top. Now you can do it faster. You can't do it much slower than what I'm gonna do it, but you can definitely do it faster. I just like the slow motion of it all. Number 3, we're in the air now, and I suggest working your way up to jumping full-size jumps. But now we're in the air, what do? Typically, if we're pushing weight forward, going off the top of the jump face, the front end's gonna have the tendency to go forward, go down, right? And so we wanna learn to do what we call a prevention rev, and we have other videos on that too. A prevention rev is just lightly hitting the throttle as soon as you leave the ground to get the bike to level out and not continue floating forward. What happens is whatever happens leaving the jump face is just gonna exaggerate through the whole arc of your jump if you don't have some sort of feedback.
What's up guys, Tyler from the MX Factory here. Today we are going to teach the intro on how to whip. This is going to be for newer jumpers, I should say. Getting consistent with jumpers, learning how to whip. And you know our goal with this channel always is to make you safer and faster, so we're going to take the steps necessary to keep you safe while doing this. Let's go. All right guys, before we get into the coaching part of this, make sure you stick around to the end of this video. I go over what would be the biggest mistake that would make you crash in this scenario at the end of this video. Make sure you stick around. All right, so the first step in learning how to whip is going to be understanding good standing body position going off the face. You have to be solid in this. Do not try to whip the dirt bike if you're not solid in your standing position. So I'm quickly going to go over it. We have plenty more videos where you can find this. You want flexion in the ankles. You want knees in the middle of the bike squeezing. You want hips turned out, flat back, head down. So you want to be in that good neutral position before you take off from the face. So, all right, so the first step in body position going off of the face of the jump is understanding that we just need to move weight to whatever side we feel comfortable to. So what that's going to look like is you're coming off the face of the jump and then you're just slightly moving head and shoulders to the inside of whatever the handlebar side you feel comfortable with. So I'm coming off the face of the jump. As I'm going up the jump, I'm just going over here, and then I'm going to try to keep knees in the middle, and then once the bike flicks off the top of the jump, it's going to flick in line with my body, it's going to float, and then ideally come back. So you want this motion as you're turning throttle going off the face. You want head and shoulders to move to one side or the other to get that bike to move in the air. All right guys, we're in the air now, the bike's floating. What we want to think about is, since we've popped up here, we've leaned to the inside, and that back tire starting to float out, is we don't want to make a crazy mistake of trying to maneuver it one way or the other. We don't want to turn the bars hard one way or another. We don't want to turn this way. We just want the bike to do its work. We got to understand that what we did on the face of the jump is going to dictate how the bike floats in the air. So we kind of just want to loosen up in the air and make sure the bike's floating and able to come back. All right, so now that we're in the air, we want to talk about how do we land. So 9 times out of 10 when you're learning this, you're going to land a little sideways. If you're not comfortable landing sideways, make sure you get comfortable before you do this on smaller jumps. Okay, the big thing is though, when you land sideways, you need to be ready to absorb the impact with your body. So you need to make sure your feet are in the right position, knees are squeezing, and you're ready to land strong. That means that you need to land with good strong legs as if you were jumping off the tailgate of your truck. The next part of that is make sure you land on the gas no matter what. If you land sideways, especially if you case a little bit off the gas, the bike will bounce back the other direction and you have a higher risk of falling. If you land on the gas, the bike is ideally going to drive forward when you land and have a lower risk of falling. So make sure you land on the gas and land with good strong legs. All right, so we made it to the end here. The biggest mistake you can make here in this scenario that I don't want you to do at home is getting tense at any moment. Remember, a whip is fluid and you float. You've got to have your body in that same motion, that same mindset. I need my body to be loose. I need my body to be malleable. I need the bike to float and come back underneath me. As soon as you tense up on the bike, you're going to stop the natural momentum of what the bike's doing and how you lean off the face. What the bike's doing in the air, you're going to stop that. A lot of times when you stop that, that's when you have the big land sideways and then inevitably the crash. So just flow. If you can't do that on just jumping straight, letting the bike float up underneath you, maybe the whip isn't for you.